and they take parts of the seed out and put other parts in. The Kernza is not created that way. Kernza is created through hybridization. You take a male plant and a female plant, and they literally, you can walk through the fields, and they have the two plants, and they put a prophylactic, like a bag over it, and rubber band it together, so they have no choice but to mate. Wow. And then they get the little plants coming up, and they go through and they pick out all the weak plants and let the stronger ones grow, and then they mate them. So it's all hybridization. So it's a natural process. So it's a wheatgrass and a sorghum. One is a perennial and one is an annual, and crossing them, and one is more dominant than the other. The perennial is more dominant than the other. And so that's where it came from. Yeah, so it's not an ancient grain. And there's really, Cade orders all of his seeds and his flowers from Barton Springs Mill in Austin. And they have relationships with all of the grain growers, well, all over close to here. And I'm sure some of them are in Oklahoma and Arkansas and wherever else. But they bring big totes of the grains in, and they mill it all and get the flour out of it.
Yeah, we can grow it in Oklahoma. We have all that land and nothing growing on it.
What's the humidity like?
Really not humid.
If it's not humid, then you would be a fabulous candidate for growing Kernza. If you could do that, that would be so fabulous. Yeah, and it would be a great community for you to be friends with. Yes, it's a grain.
Well,
yes, it is a grass. Yes, yes.
Grain is a seed.
Yes, yes. So I wanted you to see this room, because this room was built for dances, for lectures, for bar mitzvahs, for weddings, for whatever. And we had all those things happening and going on. And we had schools here, and we still do all that. But we were not able to go to a farmer's market because we couldn't figure out the timing and how do we harvest produce and get ready to go to market, and what else are we going to take to market and all that. And then COVID hit, so all the people quit coming because of that. And then we had time, so Cade devised that right there is first generation, second generation, third generation, and fourth generation for these, we call them our drying clouds. And they're all on a winch. And so they go all the way up in the air, and they also come all the way down to the ground so that you can reach and hang and dry. And they're really just fabulous.
And you can rotate them.
Yes. So if you were going to get married here or whatever, and you wanted to have this space for something in your wedding, and you wanted those gone, we'd just take them down. But so far, nobody's wanted them gone. They just want them to be lifted as high as you can to the ceiling, and then continue on with what you were going to do below.
Oh, I see they're motorized.
Right.
Wow.
So, so they're all motorized, and it's really been a great lifesaver for us to be able to hang things on to dry. And we have all of our tea ingredients in there, our bottles in there, and those two doors, those belong to the commercial kitchen. But we grow calendula flowers and moringa and burdock and shiso. I mean, we grow everything that you saw in that garden out there, and everything that's out here, we grow.
And we have a lot about moringa.
Right, and we have
the world. Yeah.
Right, yes. So you add moringa to Kernza. Oh my gosh, you're just already on the path to creating a food, bread. Right? Yeah, a food that can feed everybody forever. And what we're also learning, since it's getting hotter and hotter. Well, first of all, I think if it's in my imagination, it doesn't matter. It's real if it's in my imagination. I think that this space, this piece of land here is cooler this year than it was the summers before. Not because of the weather, but because of what we are doing to the soil. So
Very
we
good, yeah.
consider ourselves soil farmers long before we ever consider ourselves
Right.
anything else, because that's where our focus and our attention goes. Whenever we go out to go learn something, whether it's from the Land Institute or whoever it is, it's to learn more about soil. It's not to learn more about whatever else. Cade learns it as well because he knows that that's what is in the soil that's going to feed the food that he's making to feed you. Because if it's not in the soil, it cannot be in the food.
Right.
And you want to know where your food's coming from.
Right, right. And then we have 7 fat cows, which is a quarter of a mile that way, and they raise cattle. And then we have Honey Hog Farm, and they're a quarter of a mile that way, and they raise pigs. And we raise chickens, and we have eggs and chicken meat.
We got to go see the chickens this morning when they were let out to eat.
Right.
Busting out of there. We got a good video.
So
Right.
you're not raising any of your own chicks?
No,
Just
I
collecting
don't want
eggs?
any roosters.
Yeah.
Agree.
I mean,
Told you she reminded me of Carrie.
I mean, maybe I would if we didn't have little kids here.
Yeah.
But we have so many little kids, and little kids have, their eyes look like holes, you know, and those roosters come up and they just start picking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And, and to me, if somebody's walking around with red toenail polish on, those roosters are going to go for it, just attack your toes.
I had a yard sale one time, and it was not even a big rooster, but I mean, he was
Wild, active, yes.
Attitude. And I was having the garage sale, and I had to go get change, and I tried to get in the front door, and he decided to come around and block the door, and he blocked me and got after me, and I couldn't knock him off of me. He was just Velcro on. And I was like, oh my gosh, in front of my whole yard sale people waiting for their job. I'm out there battling this rooster.
Yeah. So I don't want any roosters at all. So we get them from Murray McMurray Hatchery. And so we have some heirloom chickens in the back. And they're probably June, July, August, September. So they're 3 or 4 months old now. And so they're not laying eggs yet. But they are the funniest, looking birds ever. They have plumes on their head. They've got really feathery feet or feathery legs. They're just wild looking and beautiful.
Are they Polish? You said heirloom. Are they the Polish? What's the top?
No. Well, some of them are, yeah. But heirloom means that they are just from old stock. And so they have in their DNA lots of mechanisms that will help them fight germs and bacteria and fungal stuff. And they just tend to last, hardier. So they last a lot longer than the Freedom Rangers that we have.
So out there by the west cabin is the chicken house. There's also a bee.
The apiary
there, but out from it, a neat little bee barn, and
right.
And so we walked all that this morning, and I almost want to go sit by that water this morning with the coffee.
Oh, I know. Just pull a chair out there and go sit. Take your book.
Yeah, we sat in the rockers instead and talked about it.
Yeah, it's lovely. It is so lovely. So the plan is to build more cabins, still in the woods, so that you are in the woods by yourself. And then to build, camp is really, we are a nonprofit, but right now it's difficult for nonprofits. And so camp is really something that carries us through the whole year. But we're limited. You talked about landlocked. We are, building locked, because we can't have any more campers than what we have. And we fill up every year. So we're going to.
Places like this, though, are establishing RV pad sites, and you're just popping in the water hookups and electric hookups and the little pad site. And then some we stayed at, Lake Mead, they were just gravel. They weren't even a concrete pad. It was just a white gravel pad. It was really simple, everything done simple. And it was full all the time. It was very clean looking.
Uh-huh.
Nice. I mean, they probably had some requirements to who could, you know, how old or whatever the
Mhm.
RV, but everything looks
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Good.
Do
Yeah.
some of the people that work here live on property? You don't have caretakers that live on you? No, they all come in every day.
I don't have any place for them to stay. I mean, yeah. I mean, the people, like I was saying, you want it to be neat and clean and beautiful. Because what I was going to say, and I realized now I didn't finish my sentence. What mother or father is going to say to their 6 or 7 or 10-year-old child, don't you want to be a farmer? Or wouldn't it be great to be a farmer? If it's not a beautiful, safe, productive, meaningful place. You know, why would they ask them that question of a farm that's not safe, that's not productive, and that's messy all the time? And when I say messy, I'm not talking about, I'm just, a lot of times when the tractor tire goes flat, they just take the tire off and just leave it, and it never gets picked up. And so when schools come here, they want to see order because that's the only way that they can talk with their kids. And that's how they want to teach their kids.
Just good lessons in life.
Yes. Yes. So we can walk through the tunnels out here if you want. I'm happy to do that. But if y'all are ready to go get in your car, you guys are staying, right?
Yeah, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, you're ready to take a nap.
He is.
I understand there's an amusement park they're going to build out here. Have you heard that?
I hope not.
It's on the other side. Yeah.
What's that road? 356?
No, 359
350 something.
we got out and it goes up and going out for but out that way there's another road. I used to ride bicycles out that way. And anyway, we heard that they're going to put some kind of water park
Amusement
on the other side.
We have some
Man,
friends,
it's going to ruin it.
yeah, who live out here, and they're all upset
Yeah, I'd be upset about it if I was.
where they live, the area they live in.
But it's the name of a company that builds large, like 100-acre large compost areas, and they were going to buy land literally across Highway 6, just right there. And we fought for probably 2 years. But what we learned was that the company, there are people in Hempstead. Remember what I was saying about Hempstead? About not wanting to advertise there?
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
So this was all happening in Hempstead in the courthouse. And we get kids here all the time. And we would take the kids to the courthouse so that they could see when they were in court fighting this compost thing that they were wanting to build. And the Black Panther people, these big, huge, giant black men that were so incredibly graceful and well dressed, but they were there ready to fight because they did not want this to happen. But they were proving that the name of the company, they had one in Georgia, they had one in Virginia. I don't remember where the others were, but they all had holes in the lining that they put at the bottom of the compost bin, and then all the stuff that they were dumping in there was leaching out into the ground. But in the end, what happened was that they were supposed to post that there were like a public hearing. Well, they weren't posting it. They were posting on little tiny pieces of paper, like the morning of, saying, at noon there's going to be whatever. And they kept, it's called Pintail. That's the name of the company. They kept, and it's like, how in the world did they know that we're doing this? Or how did they know that we're doing that? And they ended up learning that we ended up getting, somehow, I wasn't involved in it that way, in that great detail, but they had their phones tapped because every time they would finish court, 2 or 3 days later, Pintail knew what was happening over here already. And and when they proved that we were, they had their phones tapped, so they could prove that the people here were in bed with the people there. And there were young people at Prairie View A&M wanting to oppose it, and Pintail was paying their way, giving them scholarships to colleges in other states for them to get out, go away, and stop. And anyway, after about 8 years, we ended up winning in the end. Well,
I remember that, but I thought they were trying to create a huge dump out there. I didn't know it was for compost.
no, you're right. You're right. It was a dump. Yes, you're right. You're
These
absolutely right.
landfills are
Yeah, it was a landfill. You're absolutely right. That's what it was. And but we ended up winning. But the only way really that we won in the end was that we were proving that the people in Hempstead were in bed with the people there. I mean, they were just making money doing that.
just
And
the
it was
power of
illegal.
money.
Right, yeah. And the thing that scared me so much was that, I mean, I would get old and die. But that company, I mean, they can live forever and ever and ever, you know. But the people fighting it would die, and then the interest and the passion and the urgency would die along with me and everybody else ready to fight it.
Ever opened up one out there?
Oh, right.
Out this way sometimes, they could probably get a foothold in and maybe open up another.
Right.
On your side of
Right.
the highway station stuff.
Right. So if I could, yeah, it is time to go. But I love hearing about your bicycle ride because, well, what I've always said is that if our young people do not learn to love the land that we live on, they're not going to have a vested interest in protecting it. Yeah. So why couldn't we create a bike ride across the country?
Well, they've got something they call a ram ride. I've never did it.
Well, it would have to be our ride because it would be something for us to help, you know, buy a farm for you and for you and for you, you know, so that we have all these little farms all connected for that energy, you know, and that spark of magic that happens. Anyway, thank you all so much.
Thank you.
So please help us figure out how to spread this.
All right.
Yes.